Booch. We playing Booch ball. Booch. We playing Booch ball.
Hello and welcome back. This podcast.
Your mic's not working. Hold on.
Oh no.
All right, it's working
Oh
again.
no!
Did you hear me before when I was saying I'm in love with the Boochie?
Yes, and then you
Yeah.
muted yourself or something.
I think
But we're good.
I think it's because I was talking too fast.
Take it from the top. Take it from the top.
Hello and welcome back to Booch Ball, the only podcast in this plane of existence talking kombucha and college sports. I'm Alex, joined as always by my lovely co-host Freed. How you doing over there, Freed?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing well, and Freed, I'm actually doing particularly well today. Ask me why.
Why?
Well, it's not just because I'm in love with the Boochie. It's because we've got, for the first time ever in the history of the show, one of our most loyal listeners, longtime commenter, first-time guester on the show. We've been dying to get this guy on the podcast. Welcome, Jake James the Snake Hennessy, to the show. Hello, Jake.
Hello. It's an honor to be here. I thought I'd just give a stab at trying this out. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, Jake.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for joining us. As some of our listeners, the loyal Boochies and Boochettes of the program might know, I dropped this little nugget at the tail end of our Thanksgiving episode with Dr. Lauren that Jake is the survivor of a stabbing attempt. And ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress this enough. I'm not kidding when I say that. Isn't that right, Jake?
Yes, it's almost as strange as Bill Belichick coaching at UNC.
Right.
Touche.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Jake, we'll dive into your whole stabbing later on into the show.
Yeah.
You know, that's gonna be. We're gonna make a killing with this episode. I really think that we will. But Jake, welcome to the show. Jake is, of course, an alumni of the University of Miami. Jake was one of my freshman floor mates in the Stanford Towers. We were floor. You were on the second floor, right, Jake?
Yes.
Second floor, which was the best of the floors 1 and 2. That was kind of like a joint package there at the U. But
Yeah.
Jake could be seen wandering through the hallways most nights. Jake would have his shirt off, and he would have his laptop propped up on his left hand and kind of on his belly a little bit.
Yeah.
And then his other hand would be kind of like doing a claw, and it would just be like typing away. And Jake would kind of just be roaming the halls. In my mind, you're barefoot, but I don't necessarily know that you were barefoot. I feel like maybe you had flip-flops on.
I feel like I did. Is this the eulogy that you would give if I died? Like from the stabbing?
Yeah.
It's like I will never forget the first time that it happened that I was like this.
I'm not
Nothing
gonna
more
lie
to
to you,
say.
Jake. I'm almost positive that I would put that in my eulogy for you. Yes, I would start there, and then it would turn into heartfelt. Later on in the eulogy, depending on how long I got. If I only had like 2 minutes. Do you think I would get any time to speak at your eulogy? How does that work?
I think you ask the family, and then sometimes the church is kind of involved, because one time I was babysat this like autistic kid a lot in high school, and then his mom died, and then the church where he's going to, and the kid was just like, he had a lot of behavioral issues. It's like, I want to speak at my mom's funeral. She was my best friend, and the pastor is just like, but he did it, and he did a very good job.
Yeah,
okay,
good.
Was
I'm glad to let him talk. Yeah,
he's like, I feel the pastor is like, I don't want to make it like a big show or whatever, make it weird. Yeah, that'd be bad. But yeah.
Make it weird by her son. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand it, especially if you're as a priest, your main job is just trying to put on a good show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's not really about what the family wants. It's not about honoring the dead. It's about making sure everything moves smoothly through the process.
Maybe getting some laughs too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think actually what I would probably do, Jake, had you tragically passed away, I might have reached out to your family and said something like, I would love to be the Miami representative of Jake's, the representative of the Miami Friends for Jake. Do you think can I just officially get either your blessing or your curse on that up front here?
You have of like the friend group or fantasy football Miami group. Yes. 100%.
I wouldn't lead with that. I'd actually like to speak on behalf of the fantasy football group chat.
Yeah. But yeah, up to you. Yes.
I don't know if the priest would go for that, Jake, but
yeah,
either way, we're glad to have you here on the show. Jake is a big Miami sports fan. Jake, we were talking with Lauren last episode, and Lauren said that I'm one of the most online people that she knows. Well, she knows you too. So I think as far as
I know her? Lauren who?
Yeah. I think as far as online goes, I think Jake wins my personal award for being the most online person that I've ever met, which is good because if I ever have a question about anything going on pop culture wise and events going on in the world, Jake is usually a pretty good source for that information.
Yes. I'm so online. A New Yorker writer called me homeboy.
Homeboy?
Yeah, Jason Capian.
Says?
Yeah. He's like, calm down, homeboy.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I was like, yeah. Damn. But yes, I'm very online.
Was that guy black? I'm just curious.
He's Asian and he lives in Berkeley. Jason Caspian.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right, homeboy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, welcome to the show, homeboy. Freed, anything you want to know about pop culture or any news in the world with Jake before we move on to our first segment here?
I'd like a little bit of a kind of brief synopsis of your stabbing story, since I'm a little out of the loop. Can you share with me and the
Oh, no, can we save that? I had a thing planned for later.
Oh, okay.
Do it. All right.
Then let's get into it.
He's alive.
Yeah, I'm alive. That's what matters.
That's what matters. And what also matters here on Booch Ball is not just talking about stabbings in college football. It's also all about the Booch, baby. It's now time for us to tell you what we're drinking. Freed, talk to us. What are we drinking today?
We are drinking the blood of the stabbing, the Blood Orange GT Synergy. Yeah. My flavor says Blood Orange Solstice. Theirs just says Blood Orange. I think we need to dig into this real quick. What do your ingredients have? Because I have cardamom. Do you guys have cardamom?
Freed, Jake, what do you have in your ingredient list there?
Okay. So for ingredients, kombucha, cold pressed blood orange juice.
And that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
I've got a different kombucha than you guys.
Holy shit.
And I have a second different one. But yeah.
What? Is that a gingerade?
No, this is just Peach Paradise.
Peach Paradise.
All right, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So I got blood orange juice and cardamom. And this is the Solstice. I think I got this at Trader Joe's. Maybe it's a Trader Joe's specific thing.
Interesting. Or maybe it's like the newer version of it.
Could be.
Oh, man. We're going to have to look into that a little bit. So cardamoms are those little seed pods that are often in Indian food. Yes. I just know that because I used to when I was if I get Indian food every once in a while, I would bite into one by accident, and it was a very intense kind of almost like a piney flavor, I believe. I don't know if
I don't really I don't know what cardamom is supposed to taste like. I like to think of it as being almost like a licorice type, but that might be totally off.
Let's see. So cardamom is an herb often used as a spice in foods. Well, that's good for you, Freed, because you're a spicy boy.
Spicy boy.
Cardamom contains chemicals that might kill some bacteria, reduce swelling, and help the immune system.
They better not be killing these bacteria.
Yeah, very true. Let's see. They are from a plant family. They're from the Indian subcontinent in Indonesia. And is there anything else interesting? Not really interesting about it. Okay. All right. I don't think it comes from a pine tree. I think it just comes from a plant. All right. Well, that's an interesting development here. Jake, can you talk to us? So, Jake, you are living in the NorCal, San Francisco adjacent area.
Diggity diggity bay, baby.
But now say that one more time. I'm sorry.
They call it the diggity diggity bay. Somebody said that in a rap song once.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's
All
called
right,
Players
homeboy.
Club. Yeah. I know.
Right on cue. Hey, what percentage juice do you guys have? Are you working with 5% juice?
Yes, 5% juice right on top of the nutrition facts there. Yep.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Well, it's time to get into this thing.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
All right. I'm going to do a
Tang.
little sniff test here first. Ooh, this has a... It smells like cough syrup a little bit, I'm getting. Are you getting any of that, Jake?
More tang.
Grapey to me.
Mine is like a creamsicle type scent.
Oh, you know what that is? That's got to be the cardamom.
Yeah.
There's something in here other than orange, for sure. That's got to be the cardamom.
Got to be the cardamom if I was to take a gander. If I was to take a stab at it, I would say it's the cardamom. Jake, what do you think?
Cardamom,
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree.
This cardamom, it's tasting a little milky.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Got it.
It's got
Milf got your tongue
strong
freed?
tang. Strong tang.
Hey, I'm into it. So far, so good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also into this as well. So we've had the blood orange before on the podcast. Again, we had this at a Thanksgiving episode with Lauren, I think, like 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Freed, I guess it doesn't matter to you what the score was. We really got to start working on this this Excel file here and trying to organize it and kind of make it into like a nice design.
I've been saying for a long time we need an intern.
That's true. Jake?
I'd be honored, but you'd have to expand the show to also do college basketball as well.
Oh,
I can't just handle 14 shows in a year. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Okay. Well, Jake, I just attended the Miami Hurricanes versus the #1 Tennessee Volunteers at Madison Square Garden just last night.
The Jimmy V class.
The Jimmy V Classic. Yeah, we lost badly, but no, you know what? I was actually impressed. I was thinking we would lose by even more because apparently our team stinks this year. But we really kind of kept with it. It was enough that they were kind of within 10 points the whole time. And so like at one point it got to 9 points but ultimately it was just fun. I was hanging out with some fraternity brothers of mine. Shout out Dr. Dolphus, Peaches, Matt Harris, amongst others that were there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we had a nice little time hanging out.
That's fun.
But irregardless, we're here. We're drinking the GT's Blood Orange. We'll check back with you, Boochies, later on in the show to let you know what our final rating is, or in this case, our kind of secondary rating. And Freed, you're going to kind of be setting the tone here for the solstice. Oh, did I get muted again?
Nope, I can hear you.
I'm muting myself so that when I type to the Boochies in the audience, it doesn't click back.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Oh, he's learning. That's great. Okay, guys, we've told you what we're drinking here. The GT's Blood Orange, and in Freed's case, the GT's Winter Solstice Blood
Orange Solstice with cardamom, the milfiest spice on the block.
That's true. That's nice. Folks, we've told you what we're drinking. It's now time for us to tell you what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have gotten...
This is intense Booch.
Got a
very
phone call.
flavorful.
I've gotten a phone call from times.
You gonna pick it up?
He loves it. Well, it's someone who's calling me from my job, but they think that I have the same job that I had 3 years ago. And she left me this like really rambling voicemail that was just like, I want you to send me some information about this product. Send it to my email. And you might not have the same email on. It took her like 3 minutes to like get through her email. And then she was like, Or what you could do is give me a call. Like, which one is it? So
Listen,
anyway,
lady.
not to get too sidetracked by that. Do you guys, what do we want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about Jake getting stabbed, or do we want to talk about Miami getting stabbed in the back and not being allowed into the CFP?
Let's get the non-football content out of the way. Let's do that.
Agreed. Let it flow.
Okay.
Like
Jake,
the blood
tell us
orange.
all about your story.
All right. So there is a wonderful place off the Mission Street, which is basically one of the main roads in San Francisco. That Mission is a little sketchy, but it's not really violent sketchy, except for the past 2 years. It's like, the people who steal stuff from CVS or Walgreens or whatever, they sell them like on the street there. It's like, look at all this cheap deodorant I have. And it's not like you're not afraid and they just play music, but off the corner there's a place called Noise Bridge, which is, this is going to sound super hipster, an anarchist makerspace, which is that somebody put like $100,000 plus into a trust, and they rent out, if you buy into the trust, you vote, and like you rent out a space, and it has like woodworking stuff, clothing stuff, and like obviously like software engineering making stuff there. So you build cool projects.
And one of them stabbed you. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Who knows? Maybe they were dressed up, but I was there that night after the Georgia Tech game. I was leaving to go karaoke because this is the night before my birthday. This is the thing.
That's correct.
So a couple of my friends were there. It's like, let's do karaoke in Japantown. So I'm leaving Noise Bridge, and then I'm going off what they call Cap Street to turn left onto Mission to take the subway, the BART, up to Civic Center and like get there. Okay. But I'm taking a left, and it's a dark corner. I'm walking, and I feel like a sting in my back. And then I turn around. It's like somebody like just sucker punched you. Yeah. I turn around, and I see like some guy like running away and like sprinting. I'm like, that's weird. I take a couple steps, and I like start to feel it. And then I feel liquid, blood. Like, you know what I mean? It's like something. And then I turn blood. I'm like, oh my God. He just like knifed me. And then there's this rando walking down the left side as well, but he has a backpack.
He stabs me too. All of a sudden,
yeah. I'm just like, so I'm calling 911. It's like, help, I've been stabbed. And he's like, oh, like, do you need me to call 911?
Can you recreate exactly how you said that to him?
Please help. I'm stabbed. Like I got blood coming. Like all that jazz. It was like very
okay. But that was you were like stressed. You were like, you were panicking.
I have no idea how deep the wound is. That's the whole thing. Where it could be like I could lose consciousness in like 10 seconds. Or
you need to tell somebody quickly. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, they do that. So I'm on the phone with 911 with this guy just like kind of standing around to make sure like I don't like fall asleep or like pass out or anything. And they're just like asking questions about the guy who stabbed me. And I'm just like, I don't know. He had a jacket on. I only saw the back of his head, and he had a hat. I assume he was homeless. And this is going on for 2 or 3 minutes. And in my head, I forget that they've called the ambulance. So it's kind of like when you're on a customer service line. And I'm like, just get to the point. Tell me the ambulance is coming. And they're like, oh, no, the ambulance is already here. And then, so I get there. And then, yes, I'm lucky enough that it was a shallow wound. And maybe that's because I was wearing like a coat like underneath. I don't know. And then they put me on the gurney. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. And then like, oh, maybe I'll get up. And I realized like, oh wait, I'm too like lightheaded to get up. And I never lost consciousness for it. But I get in the ambulance and they start taking my shirt off. And I'm like, what are we doing? And it's like, oh, we need to give your shirt, jacket, and everything to the police for like crime evidence or whatever. And then
what are they going to do with that?
I don't know. I still need to go there and get it back actually. But I'm just like,
so I was going to ask you like how much blood got on the coat. Like I'm assuming the shirt's done, but maybe the coat's out.
Done. Maybe this was they took Jazzo. They took me to Zuckerberg General because I was nearby.
Yes, thank you, Sam Jazzo in the chat, who's asking which hospital they took Jake to.
I think he was afraid because if I had Kaiser, then everything else isn't in network.
Bay Area love.
Yeah, Bay Area love. But basically, I get there and they put me under a CAT scan. And for some reason, I think I'm the only person in the ER for like 90 minutes, or at least patient, because I had a gajillion doctors like around me. Like I come into this room and there's like 15 people, and I'm like, I don't think it's that bad. And then they do the scans, and they're like, oh, it's negative. We think you're going home tonight. I'm like, yes, that's great, because we lost to Georgia Tech, and I had to call the ambulance. Yeah, call the ambulance. Like, oh, karaoke. I'm like, I've been stabbed. I'm not coming to my birthday party. Sorry. And they're like,
why did you go with the group? Why did you spin off on your own?
Because we were gonna meet up there. Like somebody had like a sushi day or whatever.
Okay.
Jazzo is steak culture. Jazzo is just off because his wife's making him leave. Oh, just for everything. But basically, then they left.
That is rude.
Wait,
Emma.
They're like, wait, your colon might be hit, and then that's like decently bad, because then they might have to like remove a section, like sew it up forever. Yeah. And at this point, I have made the mistake of only trying to text and call family members on the West Coast, to do this. And I'm just like, oh, wait, I have to leave messages for both my parents and my brother, just to like, if you have surgery, you should tell somebody. Sure. And then I'm like, I have then drafted Maxwell Gailey, who was also in our freshman year into being my aide for that. And then
he was the one who told me. He told me that you had. He was like, have you talked to Jake recently? Because maybe you should check in with him. Like,
it's basically my colon is fine. The only thing is I got a little nicked on the liver, but the liver grows back in 7 years. That's a thing. And then my parents were there the next day.
You're not a drinker really either, so your liver's probably great condition.
Yes, exactly. But
cheers to that.
Yeah, so all's well that ends well. I was just in the hospital that day, except I forgot when I was leaving the hospital, I needed a shirt because they were like in charge of a
gown on, I imagine, right?
Yeah, so I was delayed. I had my mom go to Target and just like get me a shirt to wear outside because I didn't want to.
Your mom was in town, or did they fly out?
They flew out.
Wow.
Actually, once the surgery was over, it was like 3:30 a.m. this time. So I took like the anesthesiologist's phones, like he gave it to me, and I called my mom, and I was still kind of like loopy off the drugs. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I'm like, hey, Mom, doing great. The colon's still there. And then I'm just like, hey, Dad, doing
the liver,
okay.
Not so much.
Yeah, the liver's a little nicked, but it's good. And then the anesthesiologist is like, you told me this like 3 times while I put you on, because you don't have short-term memory when you're on anesthesia. Yeah, and then he's like, yeah, you do this a lot. Like you asked me my name like 4 times. Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing about it is it's weird because it wasn't a mugging. He didn't ask for anything unless I had my headphones in. Maybe he was yelling at me to give him money. Like, 2, he didn't really try to kill me. Like, he could have like gone for the neck or whatever. Like maybe at my back, but he was just
just a dick.
It was a random.
Yeah, that is it. Like I could have.
Were you wearing a provocative outfit of any sort?
I was
like,
wearing,
was it a cane shirt?
No, it was a yellow hoodie that said Hella Bay. And I was asking my friend, and he's like, that is the color of the Latin Kings, but there's not like a Latin king
presence.
Yeah, so it'd be weird.
Yeah,
maybe it was maybe it was like a gang initiation or like something where it's just like, like just stab that guy off the thing. Because that Cap Street between Mission is a lot more sketchy than it like used to be back in the day. But very lucky to be alive. Very close call. If I have any suggestions for the audience, it'd be wear Kevlar if you can. Okay, you never know when you need it.
Or in all seriousness, are you doing that now?
No.
Definitely not. He wouldn't be doing that. But Jake, I do have a serious question to ask you.
Yeah.
All things considered, knowing kind of like what the end result was, would you sign up to do it again, knowing that you would eventually be a guest on Booch Ball?
Oh, I'd go and take the colon.
I have another one. Would you sign up to do it again if we beat Georgia Tech?
Yes, because then we'd be in the playoffs.
Honestly, I think I would take one for the team.
I mean, we're giving these kids CTE. Their like older lives going to be like pretty bad.
They're doing they're putting their bodies on the line more than than any of us.
Yes.
So guys, Jake, thank you for sharing your story, and we're so glad that you your colon is okay, and even if your liver's nicked a little bit. I
that's
did want to
insane.
just go through a list here that I have. I have a list of the 7 craziest celebrity stabbings throughout history.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to like go through and just like see. I don't know if you guys have like off the top of your heads what you think like the best stabbing is of all time.
I can't think of a single stabbing other than
Julius
Jake.
Caesar.
Yes, exactly, Jake.
I mean, it
he's
was
a
so big.
celebrity?
Everybody had to get in 42 times.
He too,
Like-
Brute?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar's at the top of the list.
I didn't know
Apparently,
we were
Steve
talking about
Buscemi got
historical
stabbed.
figures.
Did you know Steve Buscemi got stabbed once?
Did not know that.
No.
Didn't he
He got-
pass though? He's dead, right?
No,
No.
he's still alive. He just looks
Still
dead.
alive. That's a $5 fine for you, Freed, for killing Steve Buscemi.
He just died in the Big Lebowski.
He got into that's right. He got into a fight. He was hanging out with Vince Vaughn at a bar in like 2001, and then they got into a fight at a bar, and then Steve, like, I just can't imagine Steve Buscemi getting into a bar fight. Really,
I bet it
out
was
of the
Vince.
three of us, out of
Vince
the
Vaughn's a
three of
big
us,
dude.
who would be most likely to be in a bar fight, and why is it me? Probably.
Yeah,
I would say like sophomore, junior year you would be it. And that's
Mm.
just because you drank too much. And then you
it's
get
a
like a
little
weird like dash of aggression.
I would have a dash of aggression.
I don't think Alex would be the instigator, but I feel like he would innocently do something to somebody that would lead to a bar fight.
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
what
I think that's a better word than aggression, where it's like you do something maybe out of the ordinary, and then the social consequences you have not absorbed while drunk.
Yeah, like I think I would like put myself maybe in a bad position.
Yeah.
Or I would like try to joke around with somebody that was not interested in being joked around with.
You're like a whimsical troublemaker. You're like impish.
Yes. That is actually how my first grade teacher described me, and my mom will not let me forget that.
Yeah.
I was described as being impish, and my mom, like, to this day, is like, "Well, Miss Cook did say that you are impish."
Yes.
I'm like, "Well," and she was right. Apparently, she kind of
Stuck around. It actually,
Yeah.
it even builds upon itself when you start drinking.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Have you
why
guys
in
seen
college I
Four-
surrounded myself with tall people like Taylor and Durr and all those.
Have you seen Four Christmases? Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. We've watched it like 4 times this week. That's why I brought it up. It's a good movie. It just keeps coming on TV.
Can you tell us why you just brought that up?
Because Vince Vaughn's in it, and you just talked about Vince Vaughn. I'm bringing it back to the plot.
And Vince Vaughn is also in Rudy, which is based in Notre Dame.
College football. And we're back, baby.
Yeah,
Jake,
yeah.
you know exactly what's going on here on Booch Ball. We don't just talk about Booch and stabbings. We also talk about college football. So, Freed, why don't you give us a little rundown here? Tell us what's happening in the college football world. We have our 12-team playoff set. What's happening? What's new in the world? What's on your mind?
Yeah, so the transfer portal officially opened up for business on Monday. There's been a lot of people declaring that they're going to the portal. People have been starting to commit to various different teams. Coach carousels in full swing. You know, we got Bill Belichick joining the ACC as the new head coach of North Carolina to replace
as of today.
Brown.
Wow, yeah.
They're
like, look at a guy even older and like.
I mean, it's kind of like Colorado vibes almost, where they're just bringing in this personality to carry the recruiting. Because Bill Belichick, like, he's not going to recruit, right? Just his name does the recruiting for him.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
I think this is interesting because that was the big knock against Dion in the offseason, that he just sat on his couch. He never went to like a high school game and like took a photo with a big time recruit. And their recruiting class kind of suffered for it. But they did very well this year. 2 years ago, they were the worst team in college football. But I will say, he probably has 2 top 3 recruits, Shadur and Travis Hunter, that are going to leave this year. I still think they'll be fine. But does Belichick have does UNC have 2 top 3 recruits going through that? Because I think that could have carried the team.
That's a good point. He brought his bags with him, and they were Louis. And to your point, Dion's not out there grinding on recruits like Brian Kelly. You got to go grind on the recruits, and unless you're bringing in Travis Hunter and Shadur. So I think he's going to get recruits, though, just because of who he is. But I think you're right. Like, it's a little bit of a, I don't know what the right phrase is, but it's a
trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
I guess it's the sort of thing of like everybody, the back of everybody's head, they're all saying why.
Yeah.
Like, imagine best case scenario, he wins a national championship at UNC. Does that, like, do you think he'd be happy with that? Or does he feel like I just won the JV race?
Does it move the needle? Yeah. He's probably bored. We know he likes college girls. I'm sure it's
true. Yeah. So and for those who don't know, Bill Belichick is dating is she 20? She's what, 22?
24? I thought she was 20. But
so that's like
college or senior in college.
Low 20s. Cam McCormick's older than she is.
Yeah.
Well, he's older than I am, I think. And Bill Belichick is 72 years old. Apparently, he grew up a Duke fan he grew up a UNC fan because his dad was part of the UNC coaching program. Apparently,
is he older than Mac Brown?
Yes, by 1 year, I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They just traded out one old ornery guy.
The board of directors is like, I ain't got no type.
But apparently, I've heard this. I don't know if it's true that he's setting. Apparently, part of the deal is that his son is potentially set to take the reins over for him. Steve Belichick, I want to say.
Yeah,
I'm sure that'll go great.
Can I just say, Steve Belichick is like Bill Belichick. The alliteration of it, Bill Belichick, is a good name, good coach's name. Steve Belichick, you really kind of lose a little bit there, in my opinion. Steve?
I think that was also his dad's name. I think that's also part of it. But so maybe he's like, do I honor my father or do I go Ben Belichick?
Ben Belichick.
Should have gone Ben. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Belichick.
Yeah.
Benjamin Belichick.
All right. So UNC, is it going to have the substance to back it up? Are they going to develop an offensive line, or is this just going to be trying to roll on the clouds of their head coach? We'll see. Miami wise, a lot of heat on the defensive coordinator. Nothing's happened there yet. A lot of smoke around potentially the offensive coordinator taking another job.
So I listened to a very quick snippet of Nevin Shapiro, the infamous Nevin Shapiro, the
rat
booster for the Miami Hurricanes program, who ended up getting all of our scholarships taken away back in 2011. He was on a call saying that Cam Ward is a lock for the New York Giants. Apparently, Shannon Dawson, current Miami offensive coordinator, is coming with him.
Where do the Giants pick in the draft?
3rd.
It's still in flux. We still got 3 weeks left. But my thing with that is the Giants already have Brian Daboll, who's an offensive guy. And I think he calls plays. So it's like the offensive philosophy of Brian Daboll's set. I guess it's the sort of thing of like, if it was the Raiders, I would 100% see that because they have like no offensive identity. But nobody knows what's going on with the Giants is the thing. But
hey,
I think we can all agree we'd like to keep Shannon Dawson. Right?
Yeah,
I'd like to keep Shannon Dawson. And honestly, no matter what your offensive coordinator is, unless they're awful, you want to keep them. You want that continuity. I think either coordinator, you want that continuity. Lance Skidry, it's been pretty bad. It's borderline to me. I think continuity is nice, but his defense cost us a national championship berth this year. And I'm not going to forgive him for that lightly because we had a really good offense. That being said, I don't know. Cam Ward is a top 3 pick. I don't think he's that good. Super fun to watch. I'm glad we had him. I'm going to miss him, but
I'm going to be on the record as saying I think he is. I really do think he is good. I think he is really good. I don't think he is like what's
his comp? Let's say that. Like, trying to say like
I feel like
he's
his
a high.
comp is like discount Patrick Mahomes. Like he's like a big guy.
He's not
got a
as
great
big
arm.
as Patrick Mahomes. He's not
Well,
even
that's why I
close
said
to
he's
as
like
big as.
discount Patrick Mahomes.
But even size-wise, he's significantly smaller.
Is he? I thought he was like 6'3" or something.
He's 6'2".
All right.
It's a small 6'2". I think the thing with Cam Ward that I think prevented him from being
I think he's 6'4".
elite. The
Okay,
thing that
Patrick Mahomes is 6'2" also. So.
really, okay,
Yeah.
he's
He looks
bigger though.
Their body
Mahomes-
types like look similar.
I
both
think
like-
Mahomes is a little bigger, stronger. I thought, but maybe I could be
that's
wrong.
because he's 29 years old, to be fair, and he's
Even
an
in
NFL
college, though. Even in college. As I'm wearing my Texas Tech hoodie
Bro,
here.
their metrics are like, at least according to Wikipedia, they're the exact same height and they're within 2 pounds of each other.
Okay,
So my original
I'll
point
that.
stands as him
I'll
being the
accept that.
discount Patrick Mahomes with upside because he's an interesting player. He didn't really turn the ball over. Like obviously he had a couple crazy, dumb
Few
plays.
bad decisions. That's okay. The thing that
Yeah.
bothered me the most about him was the lack of deep ball accuracy. We missed so many deep balls. I don't remember him actually hitting a deep ball. Like I just don't remember one.
I think that was also the fault of the offensive philosophy a bit this year because Mario's like he wins in the trenches, run the ball, get him up, and we had a very good run game this year. But when you throw long and it's incomplete, then you're like, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and that's harder to get through because then the defense knows what you're going to do.
That's
but
a
we're
fair
still
point.
great offense this year.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, but if you think of it, if they had just not gotten too much like, we need like a big splash play, just like keep chugging it along, then, well, I guess it already was the best offense in college football this year. I'm just saying, like, that's where I would change it.
It was funny, though. You got it. Sorry, Fred.
No, I was just going to say, it was a great offense. We ran the ball super well. I think it's undervalued how well we ran the ball. Super high yards per carry. My point was just that I remember multiple plays this year where we had dudes running deep shots and they just got slightly overthrown. I just don't remember one where he actually hit somebody in stride on a big long pass, and that's just the one thing that I'm nitpicking on.
I remember a couple of them. They were more like wide open, kind of like deep, like linebacker broken coverage on like a tight end, like going straight up the middle.
Yeah, but those were like a deep slant or something. I'm talking like bomb bombs.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think it has to do with his mechanics, which I think is a bit more worrying that he's a fifth year senior, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that his mechanics are still causing him not to have the best deep ball accuracy. That if I'm drafting him, then I'm like, is he going to fix his mechanics year 6? And like, I don't know. I think that's the thing that you bring up that is legitimate and why probably Shedur's going ahead of him.
Yeah, no, I think Shedeur definitely gets in front of him, but I don't think that there's I don't think there's a huge gulf between the two of them.
Yeah.
I don't think Shedeur Sanders would have had much better of a year than Cam Ward would have had, if at all.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah, and I would say, like, what I was going to say before is that it was interesting this year having such a good quarterback, because at a certain point in the season, it almost felt like it became normalized pretty quickly for me. Like by the 6th game, I was like, and he's got that, like, and he's pretty good.
If we didn't score a touchdown, I would be pretty much mad on every single drive if we didn't score a touchdown.
yeah, exactly.
Like, why didn't we just score a touchdown?
Yeah, because I think of, like, especially for me, because I'm not, especially now, like, I don't watch like every single game all the way through. I'll usually watch like highlights of everything or check the box scores, and then you're like, every game you can see 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Like, it is inarguably a great game, but then like when you actually watch the entire game, it feels like less of video game numbers because you do see some of the drives stall out, things like that.
Let me pose this question to you guys. If we started Emory Williams this year, what would our record have been at quarterback?
7-5. I think we lose the Cal game.
That's harsh.
Lose the Virginia Tech game.
Well, considering how bad our defense is, I don't hate that, Jake. I was gonna say like 8-4, but it's like could have
probably say 9-3.
Okay.
I don't think it's that big of a gap, honestly.
Yeah, I would give them Louisville, Cal, and VTech.
I think we would have won Georgia Tech and potentially Syracuse. Probably not Syracuse, but Georgia Tech, I think we would have won. Cam played bad that game.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, that's because you have a different like style. Like it's a different style of play. That's kind of your point.
Yeah. But
right.
anyway,
well, I like Emory Williams. I'm on board to try him out unless we get some like diamond like some
Fernando.
Yeah, Mendoza is in the portal.
And
Cal quarterback.
Guess who's his father's really good friend?
Oh, Mario.
Mario Cristobal, Columbus
he's
alumni.
In the portal? The guy, so the Cal quarterback who like grew up a Miami fan.
Yes.
Is in the portal.
Who we did not recruit. We never recruit the local guys who end up blowing up, but hindsight's 2020.
So you're gonna love him.
He's big. Here's the thing with him though. I don't think he's that much better than Emory Williams. I mean, he's had the experience. He's definitely proved that he can do it. From a skills standpoint, they're very similar. Emory was higher rated coming out of high school. I mean, we recruited Emory instead of him. So he's definitely a take, but it depends on how much money he wants. It's crazy that we have to talk about it like this now, but it's all a budget game. Like, do we want to spend 20% of our overall budget on a big time QB, or do we want to get a bunch of other pieces? There's options.
Yeah, like a Jeremiah Smith or something like that.
I saw Brian Hartline is interviewing for the West Virginia. I don't know if it was a head job or OC job or what, but if Brian Hartline leaves Ohio State, who knows?
Yeah.
Is that the offensive coordinator?
It's the wide receivers coach. I think he's the OC there too, isn't he?
He's the co-OC apparently.
Yeah, doesn't Ryan Day still call plays? But yeah, imagine being an offensive
He's going to be gone unless they win 2 games.
Jake, are there birds around you, flying around you? What's going on?
Yes. They come out at night. They're called. They call the
birds
crows.
in the club. Birds in the club.
Here all.
So they're in the tree.
They just go around they're in the trees, but they also go from like building to building. It's cool.
I was worried it was a vulture circling you.
Oh yeah, but yeah, they just kind of chill out. I don't know what they do. This is like their exercise. This is their like turkey trot.
Yeah.
Squawking
before Thanksgiving dinner.
All right, so transfer portal. Let me tell you who has entered the transfer portal from Miami. It's actually a pretty small list. Robbie Washington, Miles Young, Robert Stafford, AJ Allen, Chris Johnson Jr., Antonio Tripp, and Reese Poffenbarger. That's it.
Okay, so we got wide receiver Robbie Washington, and then we have 2. I think. So Chris Johnson and AJ Allen were both, guys who got some action at running back. Are we getting Mark Fletcher back for another year?
Yes.
And then we're gonna have
Jordan Lyle. And an incoming freshman running back.
Yeah.
So we'll be a little light on running back. I mean, but neither of these guys are gonna get starters reps. So
I think that
is what it is.
I think that's a big thing that we ran the ball really well. So if you're like the 3rd or 4th string, it's like I understand why you want to like lead because you'll never get touches. It's never like it's going to put you in.
Yeah. I think we're going to end up picking up another running back in the portal though, because you want to have a stable. People get hurt, and this season, let's talk about this. We had almost no injuries on offense all season.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, crazy.
Yeah, just on the line a little bit.
Just a little bit.
bit.
None of the receivers, none of the running backs, none of the quarterbacks, none of the tight ends. And I mean, let's be thankful for that and hope that doesn't change, especially if Cam Ward actually plays in the bowl game. Like, I hope that's 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and let him sit for the rest.
Yeah.
I think he's playing. I haven't heard of a lot. I think they changed the NIL stuff. Either like you have to play in the bowl game to get like a big chunk of it, or like GMs from the NFL came back saying like, we want to see you compete and we think it's a like knock against your character if you don't play.
I would lean to the NIL portion. What was that, Alex?
Well, I was gonna say if it's like that, then that's like such an obvious like collusion between the NFL and like the NCAA of like, if you don't take that, we're really gonna have to ask some questions about.
I think that's BS though, because like you could say that, but they're still gonna draft the best players.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. I don't really buy into that.
All right, well, What else we got on the transfer portal? Anything else on your mind? Or
Freed, I
on
think
the
it's time
status?
for us to move things along here and take it on to the third and final segment of Booch Ball. We told you what we're drinking, the GT's Blood Orange. Do we want to do a quick Boocha barometer here? We haven't done that in a while. Boocha barometer, see how we're liking the Booch so far? Jake, do you love it?
Me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to give it like 7.5. Like, it's not
Jake,
life-changing.
Too early.
Oh, sorry.
Don't
Okay.
throw out numbers.
All right. Mind-wise.
Just tell me how you feel.
I don't know. It's like a nice little warm hug from an old lady where it's like, I don't know you. So the like connection we feel, I know is fake. And I'm just like simulacra of like somebody else who I wish I was hugging, like my grandma. But it still feels good. You know what I mean? If a little inauthentic.
That is such a good analysis. Jake, we need to have you on the show more often. That's what I'm hearing.
More and more people are saying.
It became like a bit almost for me to not have you on the show because you were on so much different. You were always commenting and always watching, and we never have you on the show.
And the one time I'm on, the crows are attacking.
Yeah, that's right. They're circling. Yeah. I will read this. The words of enlightenment on the bottle. Are you guys interested in that?
Always. Yes. I need an accent though.
All right.
Read it like you just got stabbed.
To receive everything, one must open one's hands and give. You guys like that, Jake, or should I do a different version of it?
That is good. That's like your last words before you die, and it's like a riddle.
Well, I was trying to do more of how you reacted, Jake, because it seemed like you were kind of panicked. This is going to be, this is me on my deathbed. To receive everything, one must open one's hands and give. Thank you. Jake, what did you think?
I felt there was what's it called? You were holding space with those words. Like it was the lyrics to Defying Gravity. Yeah.
Somebody's been going to improv.
It sounded like an old lady hugging me. Wait, this guy's just got one metaphor. He just had that metaphor. How long have you been saving that metaphor, bud?
Yeah.
Freed,
but
how are you enjoying your solstice?
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a strong flavor.
Yeah, cardamom.
It's like kind of good, but it's a lot. I don't think I can get through the bottle.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, folks. We'll check back in right at the end here with our final scores. But before we do that, it's time for the third and final segment of Booch Ball, which is, of course, Who We're Picking.
Who we're picking.
Freed, what's the slate?
Well, of course, we're doing the first round of the playoffs. We got 4 games on the slate, all kind of big spreads. I was actually surprised to see how big these spreads got. Indiana at Notre Dame. Battle for Indiana. Notre Dame by 7.5.
Yeah. Holy shit, I didn't even think about that. Wow. I keep forgetting Indiana snuck in.
Yeah, and Notre Dame's in Indiana. Who knew? SMU at Penn State -9. That's the Miami B team, of course. And Clemson at Texas, the battle for orange supremacy, I guess. Texas by 11. Tennessee, another orangey, at Ohio State. Ohio State favored by 7.5. So we got 4 touchdown plus spreads. Just kind of overall thoughts about the first round slate. Where are you guys at?
This is what happens when you expand the playoff. You get a lot of teams that are like decent or good or have like a good path here, like Indiana did, against teams that are kind of more towards the freezing point of great, where it's like those are the teams that typically win national championships. And if you think about the playoff, even when it was like 4 teams, like most years you'd get like one good game of the 3, which is the 2 semifinals and the final. That would be good. So like I expect a lot of blowouts. I'm going to be completely honest for it. All that these teams have time to rest up and heal. And it's going to be blowouts, I believe.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Freed, where do we want to start off?
Let's take it from the top. Battle for Indiana. Alex, start me up.
Jake, here's where I'm going to go against the grain here. It's the battle for Indiana. It's Notre Dame, a team that has routinely choked in playoff national championship style scenarios here. We have Indiana playing the Super Bowl for their team. This is all anybody wants out of them. If Indiana beats Notre Dame in the first round, the rest of the season is irrelevant. It all comes down to this. And I'm picking Indiana as the Cinderella story here to hand Notre Dame their second loss of the year after losing to Northern Illinois earlier this year.
All right.
That's my pick.
Do I go
Indiana,
next?
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
All right. So I will say this. You're putting a lot of pressure on Indiana, who just had their best season of all time. Like, I think they've literally won the most games they've ever won. Yeah. The season can't be a disappointment at that point.
I'm not saying it's a disappointment. I know what you mean.
Okay. Yeah. It's Friday night in Indiana in December. It's going to be very cold. Who does that hurt? Throwing quarterbacks. And Indiana lives on the throw. And when they played Ohio State, they couldn't handle that size. And even if Ohio State, when they were down 2 offensive linemen who are really important, they really couldn't get after the quarterback. I just don't see it happening. I'm going Notre Dame.
I like the analysis and the weather, bringing that all kind of full picture there.
I forget about the weather.
I'm going to go Notre Dame to cover 2. I think it's a low 2-score game. I think near the spread. I don't see a blowout, but I think Notre Dame will get the slight cover. All right. Let's go into SMU at Penn State. Jake, start us up on this one.
Okay, so I know everybody's going to say James Franklin can't win big games, and that's kind of true, but this isn't really a big game for him. I feel like the talent disadvantage is like such a big thing, such a disparity on his end that these are the type of games he does consistently win, which is why he does do that. Plus, it's graduation weekend at Penn State. So basically, that town's going to be popping. I'm going Penn State to cover.
Oh my God, Freed, I didn't realize that. I had actually picked SMU previously. I just wrote that down. Again, I'm doing this all on the fly, and my analysis is some of the worst analysis on the show between me and Freed. Jake, because a Boochie of this program's sister attended Penn State, and she will be graduating.
This is how Alex makes his picks.
Shout out Laura. I'm switching from my ACC team, SMU, and I will be taking Penn State on graduation weekend. Thank you for that little
I'm sticking with SMU. 9 points too many. I think they keep it to a 1-score game.
All right. Very good. What's going on over there, Jake? I feel like there's like a plane.
There's a plane. That's weird, but it's good. It's not.
It's a bird. It's a plane. Next thing.
It's Booch ball.
It's Booch ball.
Damn straight.
Man. Yeah. All right, Freed, what do we got next?
We got Clemson at Texas. I'm going to take this one. I'm putting some respect on the ACC. 11 points. Too many. I do not believe in Texas. Straight up. I don't believe in Clemson either, but they can cover 11 points.
All right. I like that pick, Jake.
All right. So this is the only one that's kind of hard for me because I feel like if they put an Arch Manning, Texas would cover. Like if we watch the SEC championship game, like Georgia could do nothing the first half, and then when we even put them their quarterback, I was like kind of It was just like Texas's offense couldn't function enough to score points with Quinn Ewers, who maybe the moment's too big, maybe he's injured, but I just can't help but think that like that coaching staff isn't going to be like national title hopes are going to line, that they're not going to pull like Quinn your bench or put in an Arch. So I think Texas does cover. But if you told me Quinn Ewers was in the entire game, I'd go Clemson. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I usually pick Texas because my buddy Chazzy is a Texas fan. But in this case, the spread's too big, and like you said, Freed, I don't think it's dissing Clemson. I think Clemson's gonna. I have a feeling Clemson's gonna end up emerging as the ACC team here and kind of reestablishing their head of. They're going to take this and run with it and say we are the true ACC team. So I'm gonna have Clemson at the very least covering the spread, maybe a win, because a 5 versus a 12 seed is the most common upset in March Madness.
Yeah.
It is.
If it continues.
Look, we got 4 of these games. Chances are one of these little underdogs, chances are one of them will probably end up winning.
Yes. We have Tennessee, Ohio State as well.
That's right. Tennessee, Ohio State. Who wants to start this one?
I will.
Take it.
Talking about underdogs, I think Tennessee wins. I think Ohio State, there's a couple things against them. They lost their 2 best linemen on the line, and I think that contributed to a big reason why they lost to Michigan.
Injuries or what?
The offensive line injuries, where they couldn't protect their quarterback enough, and therefore their passing game just couldn't function with Michigan's D line, which is really elite, even if the rest of the team is kind of meh. And I think that shows up against Tennessee, plus the emotional turmoil of losing in Michigan like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are they really going to get focused in time enough for the 20th in order to win? Or are they just like, oh my God, this season sucks, it's over? So I'm pulling for Tennessee. Go Vols.
Go Vols. I'm right there with you, Jakers. I'm taking the Tennessee Vols because my friend Walker is a Tennessee fan. And because you know what, fuck Ohio State. I was at the Jimmy V Classic. Michigan was playing afterwards, and I was high-fiving all the Michigan people, being like, "Hey, UM, go blue, fuck Ohio State." Great way to make a bunch of friends with the Michigan crowd. So I'll be taking Tennessee, and hopefully we can ride Tennessee. Tennessee is my team that I'm going to be riding this, until something else happens. Tennessee, if they win, who do they play? Who is that?
So I think they'll play the Oregon because that's the 1 seed, right?
Oh,
correct.
Never mind. We should all become Penn State fans because they're going to beat Boise State. Anyways, never mind. I'm taking the Tennessee Vols to at least cover against the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Well, if you listen to last week's episode of Booch Ball, I never pick Michigan. I always roll with Ohio State, and that's not changing today. I don't think Tennessee's good. I don't think anybody in the SEC is good. Maybe it turns out they're all good and they were beating up on each other, but I am so down on the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
My championship picks, my top 3 for who I think can take it is Oregon, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. And
really?
I got Ohio State covering this spread.
I never trust Notre Dame, but hey,
I think the bracket worked out well for Penn State and Notre Dame, actually. I think Oregon's better, but they're going to have a harder time getting to it.
Notre Dame has a pretty good path because if they beat Indiana in advance, they get Georgia, and I also don't think Georgia's good. So
yes,
there's that.
I'll just say for the Tennessee game, watch out for Nico, the Tennessee QB. People grew up really fast during the season. But yeah, just saying.
It's the same guy who put up a resounding 0 points in the first half of 3 straight games in the middle of their schedule this year.
He's young. Big-time players. What do we say about big-time players in big-time games?
They score points. They score points before halftime, and I'm so down on Tennessee. I'm so down.
Well, Freed, as we know, it's any given Saturday, and it's any given Booch Ball. The picks are in, but now it's time for us to give you our final score for our respective Booches. Jake and I are drinking the GT's Blood Orange, and Freed is drinking the Blood Orange Solstice with a little bit of cardamom. Hi, Mom.
Cardamom.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye,
All
Mom.
Right. Jake, as you know, on Booch Ball here, we have a 10-point scoring system here. Technically, it goes to 0, so really there's 11 if you think about it. And if you don't think about it, it actually makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
0, worst thing ever. 1, literally can't drink it. 2, disgusting. 3, not good. 4, meh. 5, would drink it. 6, would buy it. 7, would recommend it. 8, delicious. 9, amazing Booch. 10, best thing ever tasted.
Jake, you already spilled the beans a little bit. Do you want to go first?
I'll say 7.5, where I can't call it delicious because it's a mere simulacra or a replicant of something that is pure and holy. It is close enough that it'll do for now. 7.5.
Okay. 7.5 from Jake. Freed, for me, this is a Booch that is existing right on that fine line between would buy it and would recommend it. This is at the upper end of the would buy it. If it was in a store and I saw it, I might pick it up, might add it to my collection. Would I recommend it? It's not going to be my first recommendation, but one of the things about it is that it's actually pretty sweet. So if you're a beginner Boocher and you like, the orange, it's a kind of a fun little flavor. I do like blood oranges in general. So for me, it's going to be a straight up 7 out of 10.
Yeah, this is it's powerful. So much acidity in an already acidic beverage. It's kind of why I just don't vibe so hard with the oranges in my Booch. It tastes it tastes good when you get into it. The cardamom is unique. There's something there. It's just a lot to handle. And that's why I'm going right in the Freed zone at a 5.5.
5.5. Okay. All right. Not bad. Not good. He's drinking it. He'd drink it again if he had to.
That's right. Alex, what was your score? I missed it.
It's a 7 from me and a 7.5 from Jake.
Got it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It's now time for the ETF 5 bot.
The ETF 5 bot will average our scores. The ultimate math machine. Beep boop boop beep beep boop boop. 6.666. The number of the bloody beast.
Oh
Wow.
man.
How fitting.
That being said, kind of an unfair comp because the Blood Orange Solstice is a different Booch.
It is a different Booch.
So really it's a 7.25 from us and it's a 5.5 for you.
Hey,
But as
fair
far
enough.
as overall episode vibe goes, yeah, 66666 Blood Orange, baby, the devil lives, Arizona State. Jakers, thank you so much for being on the show. James Hennessy, is there anything that you want to, if not promote, then just make sure everybody out in the world knows about and goes and checks out?
Watch The Brutalist. I really enjoyed that with Adrian
movie,
Brody.
right? New movie?
The Brutalist, yes.
I love Adrian Brody. Okay, everybody, you heard it here first. Go watch The Brutalist in theaters.
Also,
Jake, it's 3.5 hours long.
it's good. Also,
That's
donate
brutal,
to
dude.
malaria charities.
Nice, dude.
It's
What about
most bang for malaria charities? Most bang for your buck in terms of saving lives.
I was getting eaten up at work the other day. I gotta check myself
Gotta do it.
before I wreck myself.
For sure, Freed. Well, Jake, thank you for joining us. Everybody, Boochies and Boochettes all around the world, check out The Brutalist. Thank you for listening. We'll check back in with you after the first round of the playoff games. We love you, Boochies. And as always,
Stay cultured and stay safe out there, folks. Be careful when you're wandering around the cities. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Booch. We playing Booch ball.